Hey, howdy trainers, my name's KaijuGuts, and let's discuss all we know about Pokemon Sword and Shield up to now. Originally, this was going to be a Pokemon Direct analysis video, but Nintendo said, "We want to win in E3," and then decided to show a lot more information about Pokemon Sword and Shield, even if some things ended up being a little controversial, to say the least. By the way, Nintendo, you really got me by my wallet. Like I get it, y'all are always gonna make good games, but really, revealing more Astral Chain stuff and then like the Breath of the Wild sequel trailer. I mean, there's no Bayonetta 3 stuff yet. Of course, it's never gonna be Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is just an illusion at this point. Like, let's be real. But like, despite that, like every single reveal got me excited in some way, and like even the Smash reveals. I mean, I love Smash, but Nintendo really said, you know what, give us your money, and I really said, alright, I'll be the clown and give you my money all the time. In any case, let's get right into it. The Pokemon Direct was full of new information regarding the new region. From the information we received, it also seems like the Pokemon Company kinda has learned some things from Sun and Moon and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Kinda. You'll see later. Of most importance to most trainers, we have the new Pokemon of the Galar region. Thus far, 8 non-legendary and non-starter Pokemon have been revealed either fully or partially. The 5 officially announced Pokemon are the Normal-type Wooloo, the Grass-type Gossifleur and its evolution Eldegoss, the Water-type Dreadnought, and the Steel-flying type Corviknight. The other 3 unofficially announced Pokemon are the Electric-type Yamper, the Fairy Dark-type Impidimp, which I absolutely adore, and a briefly seen yet unnamed Squirrel Pokemon. Out of all these Pokemon, my favorite Pokemon thus far are Wooloo, Corviknight, and Impidimp. Corviknight is probably not going to evolve in a similar fashion to Skarmory, but I definitely think Wooloo and Impidimp will evolve, and this is what makes me like them even more. A lot of artists have theorized that Wooloo will evolve into a wolf in sheep's clothing, which is really exciting to think about. Hopefully I'll remember to ask for an artist's permission to share their take on the mon on screen right now, and if I don't, like, I'll probably just draw my own thing and link to the original artist, but regardless, it's not that far-fetched of a concept. Impidimp, on the other hand, seems to have heavy Devilman inspiration, so we can see it becoming a bigger, much more scary orc-like Pokemon, which is also super cool to think about. However, this is all speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. Moving on from common Pokemon, however, we have Zacian and Zamazenta. Zacian, my personal favorite, and Zamazenta, the favorite of people without culture, clearly play into the blue and red theme, or in this case, cyan and magenta theme, that the Pokemon Company has been carrying throughout the years. From their naming convention, a lot of people are assuming that the third legendary might be based on the color yellow. With this in mind, we might see the third legendary being called Zalo. Before realizing that these 3 would be based on Cyan, Magenta, and Yellow, I assumed that Zacian and Zamazenta were based on Gary and Frecky, and that the third legendary would be based on Odin. But now that I have realized that it might be a wolf triad, I honestly don't know what mythology this should be based on. If you have any thoughts or ideas, comment them down below, please. It would definitely help me out. In any case, I really like Zacian, as I mentioned earlier. I'm most likely gonna buy Pokemon Sword and then name my Zacian Sith because epic Dark Souls reference! With all of that out of the way, let's move on to the more human aspect of the game. From here, we have our pretty standard revealed crew. We have Leon, the champion of the region. Leon appears to have a charming personality and really seems to play into the royal theme of the region with his king motif. With this in mind, he also seems to have sponsorships on his cape in a similar fashion to an esports player. Basically, we got Wolfie Glick but British, or really any other competitive Pokemon player. Oh, and let's be real, he's probably going to be the antagonist.
But Kaiju, how can he be an antagonist? He's the champion.
I don't think y'all realize that he's never lost a battle ever, or at least not an official battle. And what does that necessarily mean? I don't know, he seems pretty suspect, he seems too charming and too perfect. You know, characters like that never truly end up being as perfect as they mention. I mean, look at my boy, I don't know what his name was, but like the golden guy from like Ben 10 Alien Force, he was like the perfect being, and then he turned out to be this evil, awful creature. Like, perfect beings are never actually perfect in media, and it would just make sense that Leon would have some antagonism in him, or work for the antagonist team in some way. But you know what? That's just it. No, I'm not gonna do the meme. Like, game theory memes are dead. They should be dead at the very least, but as long as the word theory exists and there's video games, it's never gonna go. In any case, following Leon, we have his younger brother Hop. You really can't tell much about Hop other than, you know, he's the younger brother of an unbeaten champ, so he might be like Hal, who wants to look up to his older brother, but also wants to be better than him. That's about it. Following Hop, we have Milo and Nessa. Milo seems pretty carefree, and Nessa seems pretty serious and dedicated to her creed. Both of them are gym leaders, or in this game, they're called gym masters. I don't know which term is much more comfortable for me to use. Regardless, yeah, they're your standard grass and water type gym leaders. They're probably early game gym leaders as well. Who knows? Following that, we have Professor Magnolia and her granddaughter Sonia. Both of these study the new gimmick of the region, that is, Dynamax. Professor Magnolia herself seems like the type of grandmother who would shank you if you accidentally mess up her order at Starbucks. And then Sonia looks like the grandchild who would apologize to you for, like, even making you take her order. I mean, they're probably not like that at all, but anytime I see a family member that's old and a family member that's young, I always imagine them like boomers and millennials. There's probably not going to be the case, but I really want Professor Magnolia to be a boomer. Give me a boomer in my video game, Nintendo, please. And with that, we have all the humans of the game. Hopefully as time goes on, we get more details regarding their personalities, or if Nessa and Milo are very superficial, we get some more interesting gym leaders. Dynamax is the new gimmick of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Taking what seems to be inspiration from Pokemon Go, this new mechanic allows Pokemon to become huge for 3 turns. While they are huge, they have super powered moves which deal more damage. From this concept alone, it seems to combine the concepts of Mega Evolution and Z moves. As mentioned earlier, there was the controversial news that Megas and Z moves wouldn't be in this game. Although I don't mind Z moves not being part of this game, as they felt like a very Alolan exclusive thing, the loss of Mega Evolution is something that kinda did upset me, but it's something I can live without. Regardless, Dynamax does seem like a nerfed version of these two concepts, as they only last 3 turns if I recall correctly. Given that we see Dynamax play out in an early gym, we can speculate that this mechanic might be received early on for Professor Magnolia alongside her starter Pokemon. Taking even further inspiration from Pokemon Go are the maxed raid battles. Basically, up to 4 players can confront a Pokemon which is Dynamax for an entire battle. During these timed battles, only one Pokemon on the player's team may Dynamax. For the first time, however, it's been implied that you can actually do these raid battles with your friends online. According to the Sword and Shield website, trainers will automatically be added to your side to help you battle the wild Dynamax Pokemon if you do not have 4 players on your team. This may imply that you'll be able to play with friends and randoms online. That, or the added trainers will be AI and you can't play with friends. It's probably the latter given Nintendo's amazing track history when it comes to online play. Moving on from the kind of sad concept that is Nintendo Online, we have the return of overworld encounters. Like I've argued before, I think overworld encounters are really good for the franchise. It facilitates shiny hunting, and it also makes the world feel much more natural. These can be found in what is known as the Wild Area, which kinda implies that the UK is an untamed region when it's probably super urbanized and industrialized. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm a brainlet that won't take a second to Google this stuff, but who cares. Finally, we have the Rotom phone. Like the Rotom Dex, this new Rotom appliance is your Pokédex of the region. As seen in the trailer, it seems like only the protagonist has a Rotom phone, while Hop has a regular phone that doesn't seem to be inhabited by a Rotom given the lack of an orange coloration. However, maybe phone color doesn't really indicate whether or not you have a Rotom Dex, given that the Rotom Dex from Sun and Moon was not orange, so who knows? Since Pokédexes are given to you by the professor usually, does this mean that Professor Magnolia is paying for your phone bill? I mean, it would make sense since she probably doesn't give every trainer a Rotom phone, but what if she does? Like, research requires funding, and grants and whatnot. However, these grants are usually paying for materials and different things. So, how much of this money goes into phone bills? Or are phone bills like a universal right in the Pokemon world? Like, not phone bills, but like free access to phone calling and like internet usage? I mean, it's probably a question I shouldn't be asking because it's the Pokemon world and it's probably just answered by the power of fiction. But I really want to know, like, what are the ins and outs of, like, the government in Pokemon or, like, other institutions, you know? In any case, the Rotom phone also seems to connect to your bike, which allows it to go faster and... over water? Huh? I mean, I guess Rotom makes your bike into Jesus now. Now, like I mentioned before, there was some controversy because we know Pokemon fans can never be satisfied and will never appreciate any work put into a game, so of course there's currently a huge controversy. Basically, not all Pokemon will be in the game, and this upsets the 10-year-olds that make up the Pokemon community. I definitely get that it sucks not to have your old Pokemon in the game, but it's not that big of a deal. We still have Pokemon Home, we'll still be able to get these Pokemon in later games, and we'll definitely have a sequel or third upgraded version of the games coming that can fix this issue, or we can even see patches come to the game as time goes on. However, I've seen people argue that Nintendo doesn't do big updates in the form of DLC, and I'm rather baffled. A lot of my favorite games on the Switch, such as Breath of the Wild and Splatoon, got major DLC, which did come at a price, but it was relatively cheap. Splatoon got an entire new campaign for $20. Octo expansion could have been its own game, yet I paid only $20 for it? I don't know, I'm just saying, it's not that far-fetched to think about. And given also a lot of the patches that have gone into other games beforehand, it just sounds like a lot of people don't know what they're saying. On top of this, Sword and Shield is going to reach over 1,000 Pokemon. You do realize that means 10 or so animations for each Pokemon model, not counting the models that aren't Pokemon. That's a ton of work that will go super underappreciated. I think most people just don't like to use their brain and just like yelling at Nintendo. Again, what did kind of bother me was that Megas won't be in the game because Pokemon such as Mega Dino and Mega Pinsir are some of my favorites. However, that's more of a personal grievance and I know it won't affect my gameplay, so there's really not much room to complain. That's just my 2 cents though, and I know the game will still be enjoyable, but you know, people are gonna probably spew hate in the comments because I definitely am not upset with this change. However, if you're not spewing hate in the comments, thank you very much for being an understanding person. With that, let's just get into the end of the video. And that's about everything revealed thus far. What'd you think? Are you hyped for Sword and Shield, or are you on the train of people who are hating on the game because they don't understand the amount of work that would go into it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to leave a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Subscribing helps you join the 10-year-old army because let's be real, 90% of my viewers are 10-year-olds that laugh at my dumb humor. Let's whip it, nay-nay gamers! And if you're already a 10-year-old subscribed to my channel, consider hitting that bell for notifications. It really helps me out. And without further ado, I'll see you next time.